Home and commercial inspections here. The number one question that customers always ask is, what goes into a property inspection? Well, today we're performing an inspection and we're going to show you a list of all what goes into a property inspection. Roof, mechanicals, structure, exterior inspection. We're going to run you through the whole process, and we're inspecting for defects. We're looking for things that may be installed correctly, and we're also looking at whether or not there's any impact damage. This is a newer home, so there could be manufacturer installation instructions that weren't followed. There's a lot of defects, so we're going to go through that entire process. And then we're going to walk around the exterior and head inside. So here we're going to look at the roof, and we're going to look for damage to the shingles. We're going to look at whether or not we have sealant on your ridge vent. We're going to look at the installation pattern to make sure that it's not weaving, that it's installed correctly according to what the manufacturer says. So we're getting a nice aerial view, and then we're going to zoom in and just kind of take a look and see if we have any deficiencies. This particular drone has a zoom. And it looks like your ridge has the sealant on your ridge. And that's an example of the defects that we look at on your roof. We go through a complete process of looking at all the flashing. Here's another ridge over here to see whether or not the sealant's on the ridge. So the fasteners on the ridge cap are sealed. And then we're just going to fly the drone in this pattern, and we're going to look at the entire roof to determine whether or not there's any defects, anything wrong with any of the penetrations. Here we have a plumbing penetration in the back. So we're going to take a look and see if there's anything wrong with that plumbing penetration. They can sometimes be torn, installed incorrectly, still capped. We often find them still capped, where the pressure cap is still installed. And now we're just going to fly the roof and look at the pattern. And then that's the process of looking at the roof. So it'll probably take about 10 or 15 more minutes. We're not going to bore you with that. We're going to inspect the rest of this roof and then start on the exterior. One of the things we're going to look at is we're going to look at the flashing. That's the most important part of the exterior of the home, is the actual flashing. So over top of all the doors, you're going to have flashing. So your doors, your windows, especially where you have this veneer stone, we're going to look for the weep holes in the stone, any mechanical damage. So when things are being installed, sometimes things are hit or nicked. So we're going to look at all those different things as we try to traverse around the exterior. And so we're going to continue to look for defects. So that's the process of looking at the exterior. And when we move inside, we're going to operate the windows and doors to make sure that they function properly. Operate the garage door. We're going to look at the gutters. One thing that we're going to look at immediately is there's a downspout missing here. So we're going to notate that and document that. And that's the process of looking at the exterior. So you got a patio door in the rear. We're going to walk this entire outside of the property, and we're going to take a look at all of these defects. So here you have your front porch. You got your seal. You got your flashing up top. You got to look at your brick to see where it's weeping at. So here they have a termination bar down at the bottom. So they do have drainage for behind the veneer stone. You also have your corners. So you're going to continue to look for mechanical damage. We'll test the outlets. We'll look at the painting to see if it's chipped or deteriorated in any fashion. And we're going to look at all of your flashing details. The most important thing to think about when you're dealing with a home inspection is water intrusion. We can't let water intrusion into the home. So we're going to be looking for any ways for water to get in.